Power Monday all up in your area. What's good? Let me get my bones right. My beaded bones. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, y'all? Power Monday. Have you ever thought about a prenuptial agreement? Are you married now? What if you were a millionaire? If you are a millionaire? Carla? Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. Go out of legends. Yeah. What up, y'all? Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily. It's the daily go-get-mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking all fast lane, no close. And everything is gonna be all right. We talk about signing a prenup tonight. I said, and everything is gonna be okay. We talk about prenuptial agreement. Yes, I say, and everything is gonna turn out fine. Hey, yo, you sign that thing right there on the dotted line, and everything is gonna work out. How? Sign that shit right now, or I can't marry you, baby, because I gotta keep my money. You must be crazy now. Whatever you came here with, it's the same thing you leave here. What? That's the real shit. Yeah, and what we accumulate together, we can spend together, as long as we together. But looking for a clause, yo. You trying to get this cash? You take a pause, baby. It's gonna work out right. Yo, all you gotta do is sign it. Yeah, right there. You don't sign, yo. I can't have no holy matrimony, not mine. You got kids, I got kids. Yo, and matter what we did, it's gonna be okay. It's the real way. Sign that thing, ma. Make the thing bling, huh? Everything is cool, baby. And don't try to play a fool, maybe. The next man's an all-day sucker. But not this mother. You gotta sign, I gotta sign, gotta sign, gotta sign. So that's what we're talking about today. Yo, so how y'all feeling, man? I hope that y'all are feeling like real men and women should also, because I'm feeling like a real man should all day, every day. And that's the way that it needs to be. Power Monday all up in your area. I realize that on the East Coast is 2 something in the morning. So it's really the 15th and it's Tuesday, but not for us. No, still Monday, baby. It's still Monday for all intents and purposes. So let's have this conversation. So tonight on the Daily Go Get It Show, we are talking about would you consider getting a prenuptial agreement? A prenuptial agreement. Do y'all know anybody that has had a prenuptial agreement? I mean, I'm not assuming that none of y'all have, a prenuptial agreement sort of makes a marriage a contractual arrangement. But when you really think about it, a marriage is a contractual arrangement anyway. But for most of us socially, we look at it as a loving, emotional arrangement. Like, I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you and I want to build a family with you. And I want to love you. And I bet you didn't know that, girl. You didn't know that I need you right now, baby. Right now, baby. And I bet you didn't know that. Sign on the line. Well, I was supposed to say Ebony Eyes, but we talking about that prenup. We talking about that prenuptial agreement. What up, Cheryl Halsey? What up, CC? What up, my man I Heart Oakland? What's good, Idiotic Genius? Carla is in the house. Garado Legend, what's good? Somebody with Arabic writing that I can't pronounce, but glad that you are here. And he says, bro, you're breaking the walls. Calm down. Calm down. Jam. Oh, he a dickhead too. I didn't know that. Somebody in Arabic is a dickhead, but that's okay. We've dealt with that before. T. Carry Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peepers going directly into your site. Kyle says, shout out the UK. Shout out the UK, the entire UK. Each island, each land mass. We talking about England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland. You know Ireland, the redhead stepchild of the UK. But the UK nonetheless. So let me go ahead and move the hardware out of the way so we can have this conversation. Have you ever had a conversation about a prenuptial agreement? Now, we look at some of our athletes and millionaires, business millionaires, billionaires, iconic figures, people who we know to have a whole bunch of money coming all out of their asshole. Yo. Yeah. And, rich people have feelings too, and they want to get married. They want to start families. They want to build a legacy. Leave behind their seeds, the product, the fruit of their loins. But they want to make sure that somebody isn't targeting them for just their money. And it's an understandable thing. It is. It's an understandable thing. I mean, excuse me. If I had millions of dollars, and I was out here scrambling, you know what I mean? I'm sticking this one and that one, but this little shorty then caught me out there like she the one. And I'm like, you know what? All this money don't even feel the same unless I can lock this one down. But I gotta make sure that she 100. Cause she wasn't there when I was in the struggle. She wasn't there when I was in the projects. She wasn't there when I was in the trailer park. She wasn't there when I was in the 1-bedroom apartment and it was 6 of us. Or the efficiency apartment, studio, whatever you want to call it. When we all had to lap it up. One at the foot, one at the head. A baby in the bed, one at the foot, one at the head. What? There's a baby in the bed. Hey, a lot of people came from humble beginnings. Some people were straight up broke, poor, whatever you want to call it. You know, I try to stay away from the word poor. I try to stay away from the word poor because for me, I've always been taught that being poor is a state of mind. It's not necessarily a condition. Well, it can be a condition. Like you are in poor condition. In other words, you're not operating on a level that is healthy or strong or solid. But I get all that. So when somebody hasn't climbed that ladder of success with you, you can become very suspicious of their motives as far as wanting to be with you. Now, don't get me wrong, because I think that along with the money, you should have the type of mentality or personality that says, well, a person would want to be with me even if I didn't have the money, but it just so happens that I have the money. So I'm attractive in a different way for a lot of people, especially people who are predatory. Now, I would think that if you're going to marry somebody, if you're going to make it all the way to marriage with somebody, that you would know whether they are the type of person that's out to, stick you for your paper. Damn, why you want to stick me for my paper? Damn, why you want to stick me for? Hey, yo, ma, like why you want to stick me for my paper? I'm out here with Puff and Kim and C's, as you know. I'm just shot. Anyway, let's get it popping, y'all. Let's get it popping. So yeah, but it turns out that many people get a prenuptial agreement and they don't even have a lot of money. There are other, they say, non-financial reasons that a person would still seek a prenuptial agreement before they got married. Now, I looked at the list of reasons that people get a prenuptial agreement, and each reason seemed to be a financial reason to me. Somehow, all of those reasons led back to money. Even if we're just talking about children, if we're talking about the family name, there are a lot of things that can go into the decision of whether to get a prenuptial agreement or not. So let's see what we know about a prenuptial agreement, shall we? Let me see what y'all talking about. I didn't really get a chance to read any of your comments yet. Let me see. The Rattle Legend says, if I have $5 or $1 million in the bank, or you said $1 million in the bank, prenuptial agreement, men marry for love and women marry for resources. Is that so? Or what if the woman has money? Oakland says, nah, marrying someone to get citizenship is crazy because that just means you don't actually love me. Well, yeah. If you marry somebody for citizenship, that's what it is. Like this marriage is not about love. You actually get the money for marrying them up front. And sometimes it can be kind of lucrative. The thing is, you can't get married like every week. You know what I mean? Like, yo, man, my marriage money, my nuptials money ran out, son. You know what I mean? I need to get married like next month. But you still married. I know. Well, look, yeah. I gotta get married again, man. I mean, it's hard living off this marriage shit. Only marriage money I get is up front. Okay. Grotto Legend says, you walked in broke, you shall leave broke. At least I got you a Greyhound ticket back to your mama's house. Well, the thing about it is in a prenuptial agreement, if somebody comes into the relationship broke, whatever you accumulate after the relationship, like during the relationship, they are entitled to half of that. They're just not entitled to whatever was gained before the marriage. So like you're not splitting half of, let's say your net worth was like 20 million. So they're not entitled to 10 million, just by saying I do. But let's say your net worth increases to 40 million during the time of the marriage. Guess what? They are entitled to that. And it's a funny thing because I was looking it up. I was trying to see if the length of time that you have been married somehow nullifies a prenuptial agreement. And the answer is no. So if you think you're going to ride this thing out like, yo, they say if you married for 15 years, then that nullifies the prenuptial agreement. And now y'all got to split everything right down the middle. Nope, doesn't work that way. But the person is not necessarily going to walk away broke if y'all get divorced after only being married a short time. Idiotic Genius says, I've made a woman sign a prenup, but only because she came in with nothing at all. She pulled up in a Volkswagen and was going to leave with it. Okay. Oakland says, oh, and son, I forgot to tell you, I know Beefy because I found his DVD in a box outside in Philadelphia. I was visiting family. Okay. Well, ain't that some shit? CC says, don't get married if you need that. Don't get married if you need a prenuptial agreement. Is that what you mean? Grotto says, I heard if you put the car's house and property in your mother's name, a woman you marry, they can't take it from you in court. Well, there are a lot of ways to protect your assets. If that's the most important thing to you. Now, I would hate to think that the most important thing to you in a marriage would be your money. But hey, if it is, it is. CC says men marry for servants. Really? And Garado Legend says, I think you should talk about prenuptial agreements if y'all dating before 6 or 7 months. This way, if she get knocked up, you get to sign her on sign or no marriage. Well, if you dating somebody, if you get somebody knocked up within 6 or 7 months, you might as well say fuck the prenuptial agreement because you reckless. Real shit. You reckless, dog. You know what I mean? Like, pregnancy shouldn't be, just because y'all together. Just because you boyfriend and girlfriend don't mean that y'all should have a green light to be getting pregnant. Like, birth control not an issue? What, just because you young? Nah, son, nah. But, of course, we probably all know situations where it happens just like that. The Genius says, that's why you settle for a certain amount of money instead of letting her get what you made after y'all together. Interesting. Damn, Garado Legends. I never heard nobody talk like this. He says, I can cook and clean What does a male like me need a woman for? What does a woman offer me? Well, I can answer those. Like, I don't know, companionship, spiritual connection, love, affection, validation or affirmation at sometimes, support, real support. I don't know if you've ever had a woman by your side who genuinely wanted to support you. I'm not talking about financial support, like really get behind you and your dreams. A woman can be your biggest source of inspiration. If she's good between her head and her heart, she can be your biggest source of frustration if her head and her heart ain't in sync, or if they're in sync in a negative way. But if her head and her heart are in sync in a positive way, okay. Cheryl Halsey says, what about common law? That common law thing, shaky. That shit won't even get you in the hospital if somebody is sick. Let me see. My people's jihad. Haven't seen you in a little bit. You know what I mean? Good to see you, my dude. Good to see you. Idiotic Genius says, if you put your car, houses, or whatever in business, in your business name, she can't touch it either if you have an LLC. That's the tactic that people use. But how about this tactic? How about not marrying somebody that you don't trust? Or making them wait to marry you until you trust them. How about that? That sounds like a good idea to me. Like if she's already trying to milk you as a girlfriend, you already know that when you get married, it's going down. She can't wait to get married. Like if a chick is pressuring you to marry her and y'all ain't even been together a year and you got mad cake, there just might be something to that. Especially if she never been married before. Or especially if she's been married a few times before. Make sure she ain't knocked none of those husbands off. Cece says in California, any marriage that is 10 years or longer would be considered a long-term marriage. And sometimes people might think that means that their prenuptial agreement would not be valid after 10 years. Nope, that has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with time. Time in a marriage does not nullify a prenuptial agreement at all. At all. No state. My man Troy Diesel is in the house to try. The one them Kyle try. What up, the one them Kyle try? Vanglorious greetings. Salutation and blessings. That's what's up. Okay. Oh, okay. Go out of legends. I get you. You was replying to somebody. All right. CC says, don't rush the process. I would say not to. And pressure comes from pregnancy. And I don't know about y'all, but I know a lot of people who have kids, they ain't married. There's no pressure. A lot of people will have a baby for you, but they won't marry you. Or they'll put a baby in you, but they won't marry you. But shit, if you got a child by somebody, you don't need no prenup. You ain't got to marry him either. You ain't got to worry about it. Not if you the custodial parent. If a woman is the custodial parent of your child, you ain't got to marry her. She gonna get you. She got her prenup right there. You gonna pay for this. If you got, then we gonna have. Or should I say, your son or your daughter is gonna have just as much as you. Watch. So a prenuptial agreement, a lot of people think that is only for the rich. Only rich people should get a prenuptial agreement. Well, a lot of people fantasize about being rich. So if you've ever fantasized about being rich, have you considered whether you would get a prenuptial agreement or not?
You have a call from
Troy.
Is this the Wyndham Couch Try?
What you want there, boy? What you want there, boy? Up here chilling with the brother classes up in the building.
Yes, we're talking about the blood clot prenuptial agreement. The blood clot.
What I gotta say to everybody is, just give me the line and pass to go. Shit. What's going on, fam? I need the slogan. What's up, man?
Man, I'm feeling like a real man should. You already know, all day, every day,
that's
no
the slogan.
days off.
That's the slogan that brings me into the foray the Go Get It show, Sun Weekend Urban Therapy. You know, that's what makes me jump in the rope while you turning.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? I like the double touch. You be turning you and TK right be turning the rope together. I'm jumping in there. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know. Look, bro. You know, I had to wait for you to get your monologue out. You know, your sermon, your monologue. You know, put your expertise out there.
Preamble. Preamble is what they call it.
A preamble. Wait. We the people of the United States, in order to ensure a more perfect union, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare.
Word.
Shit, if I don't know that shit, after all that time I had to learn that shit in 6th grade at Greenfield, then I would never know it.
I hear that.
But man, let me tell you, bro, it's not imperative that if you're not in that type of world of having. If you're not a six number thousandaire, a 6-digit thousandaire, or you're not a millionaire, or you're not on that level right there, then you don't really have to worry about them funds like that because y'all can work that thing together, y'all team. But if you're in the world as this person I know, I think his name Travis Scott. What's his name? Travis Scott or what's his name?
Travis Scott.
The boy that played for Dion.
Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter.
Huh? Travis Hunter. Well, he should have got a prenup as soon as he met the girl, because you know the girl is going to take money at some point in time. She pretty much told him that. You know, I don't know if this the one he lost his virginity to. I don't know if this is the one that told him that he was pretty, because at the beginning, she first said that she didn't even find him attractive. And she didn't like him. You know, and the funny thing about it is that really fucks me up is that you're going to buy him a gift with the money that he gave you to go buy him a gift. That's the shit that fucks me up. Let me go buy this Rolex from him. Babe, can I get some money? What you need it for? I got to go buy you a Rolex. That makes fucking sense, man. And then when she go buy it, you get mad because she bought it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it throws me for a loop because it's not understanding enough that you really don't. Certain people, your day ones, you shouldn't need a prenup with. I'm staying by the slogan of your day one is your day one. Meaning the one that seen you go crawling through the trenches like you was in the army, the one that seen you cry when the finances was tight, the one that seen you finagle and work your way up to that top level, that tier, that's the one that don't get the prenup. The one that you meet after the fact, you get that prenup. And I always try to tell people and tell these young guys that got potential to be great, and tell these sports figures that I meet Well, I'm getting ready. Like I met a boy a couple weeks ago. He plays. He got an NIL deal at Cincinnati, and he plays tight end for Cincinnati, the college.
Okay.
And I told him, while you out there doing your thing and get your thug sizzle in, make sure you have your own condo. He said, why you say that? I said, because when people know that you have potential and they know you might make them buckets and them coins, they'll start poking needles in them condoms when they give it to you. So now all of a sudden you got a baby on the way, and that's her credit card right now. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
and I'm not trying to get off the subject, Mr. Sun 752, but the one that fucks me up the most, and the athlete that pisses me the fuck off, you know who he is, man. Anthony Edwards. I think he's the one, because when he came out and said, well, I know, man, you had a discussion about this. I know he told the girl he didn't want to have a baby and this, that, and the other. And if he got the girl pregnant, and the girl said, while keeping the baby, her body, her decision, and then you made the decision to say, well, I'm going to give you $1 million and something so the baby's taken care of. That baby's not taken care of with that money. Which, I mean, we do know money takes care of a child, but yeah, if you gave a woman millions of dollars to take care of the child, where the time come in at? So you paying her off to not spend time with that baby. Disregard the fact you got 3 other kids by 3 other women that you had unprotected sex with to have babies with. See, a lot of people don't know that aspect. So it takes me out when people do that type shit. And you also said something about day ones a minute ago, right? And when you said something about day ones, I said, he gave me one more talking point about day ones. That's why I don't have a lot of respect for Kevin Hart, nor do I have a lot of respect for Nelson Mandela. Because we both know the Kevin Hart told to us down the Laugh House. Right? Not a lot of it, but parts of it. But that day one, I don't give a fuck what hell you went through, because from the stories you were told, that day one done a lot for your career. I don't give a fuck what argument, what fights, what fuss, with everything. You use her and your children as a focal point of your jokes. So at the end of the day, this shit, that marriage and all that shit y'all went through should have been worked out. Y'all should have been like Denzel and Paulette, whatever her name is. Y'all are Washingtons. Because she does so much for that. Now, when you go to Nelson Mandela and Winnie, she stood 10 toes down with you for 25 years. And as soon as you get out of prison and you see that she going through her shit and you want to be president, you divorce her and let her, and she had to fight her own battle set. No, bro, that's not how it go, man.
Well,
it's not how it go, brother Nelson.
I don't know about all that, because one thing I know about anybody's marriage or anybody's relationship, the time in isn't always. You can have time in of quality, or you can have time in of quantity, or time in of convenience. Just because they your day one don't mean that they are the one. You know, I mean, they are people in your life for a reason and a season, and you get to you get to dictate.
If you go pimping with the pimping, pimping words.
You get
that again.
People in your life,
people are in your life
for a reason and a season, reason and a season. And you get to decide what that reason is. So just because somebody was there, I mean, when you think about just somebody being in your life for a long ass time, people may have been shitting on you for a long ass time. They're your day ones though. You may not have even recognized that they were shitting on you because they've been picking your pockets on the low. They're your day ones though. So, just because you was there for a long time doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be rewarded. And when it comes to a man and a woman, you never know how that relationship is going on back in the scenes. I don't trust none of this camera shit, none of that, nothing that I see on TV, no relationships that I see on TV do I trust, because you don't know. But I'm definitely not going by just the fact that you were together for a long time. Because
no, I'm not talking about being together for a long time, but let me allow you to finish elaborating.
Yeah. So, I can't speak on Kevin Hart and his situation. When you start getting it, sometimes you can be with a woman who don't really want you to get nowhere. And that might come out. So she was your day one as long as you was making laundromat money, filling up the tank with 87, 87, regular unleaded money. As long as you was Pop-Tart and Eggo money. You know what I mean? Like real shit. Once, some women and men too don't want to see the person that they with start to have to give themselves to the world. So they would rather keep them down, have just making it, or just, being able to, let me put it this way. They would rather have you to themselves in the $150,000 crib than for you to have to share you with the world with the $10 million crib. Now that might be extreme, but some people are like that. Jealousy don't have no fucking logic to it. It don't have
That's
it.
True.
So just because you a day one don't mean that you deserve shit. Shit, the day one could mean, guess what? You have milked me for all that you gonna get. This is your last theft day. You're not getting no more. So,
well, I think that we might, when it comes to the first person we was talking about, I think you might have heard less stories than what I've heard. Because the stories that I heard about that person, that day one was the reason why that day one was going back and forth to New York with that day one's car. And that's also the reason why Teray was riding with them to New York.
From the mouth of Teray, it was his family that was taking care of him, not her. It was his. They arranged it so this is what Teray told me. So,
he told us two different stories.
But we're not doing this shit. Fuck. I can't fucking believe.
Fuck that shit.
I can't fucking believe I allowed this motherfucking name to be. No, we're not doing it.
No, but what I'm just saying is that I do agree with you to some extent on that. I just think that I would rather trust my day one than to have to move on to a person that didn't even know I exist. Now, do you believe that the person that he's with, or do you believe the person that Travis Hunt is with would be with him if he didn't have money?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
That's just my opinion. It's hard, but I don't know them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk. I can't speak. Nobody who doesn't know me can speak on my relationship with anybody. So how can I speak on somebody else's relationship when all you see is the glamour and the glitz? All you see is the shining and the red carpet and the purple labels. That shit don't. I don't know what the fuck that means. I know what it's like for a man and a woman to be in a relationship behind the scenes. I know what all that's about. Out there in front of the cameras, you can put on any kind of act you want to. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Men be out there with women looking like they support them. When they get back to the crib, they getting the more questions in a fucking interrogation room at the precinct. Fuck out of here. Nah. Know what I mean? Some people know how to hold it in. Control is a bitch. But But
yeah, damn, Mr. Legend told me I'm not Legend celebrities. I thought we was friends.
but you know, when it comes to this prenuptial agreement thing, I want to say something about whether it's your whether it's your day ones or whoever. I just would want to be with somebody that I know I can trust. I wouldn't give a fuck I wouldn't give a fuck whether it was a day one or whether it was a day 100,000. I need to know whether I can trust somebody or not. And I'm a pretty good judge of character when it comes to knowing whether I can trust somebody or not. And I also understand how trust goes in certain levels. But one thing is for sure, whatever level of trust that we have, I know how far I can go with you. And that's whether we talking about, you know, there's some women that you might be able to leave in your house unattended. And there's some women you better not do that with. There's some women that you could leave your phone open, no code, and they won't touch that bitch. And there's some women that let this motherfucker go to the bathroom and see what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So there are levels, but your job as a man or your job as a woman to know which level you are on. You have to know that. So when we start talking about this prenuptial agreement shit, evidently we're talking about a level where people do not have the trust level that they need to feel comfortable with. Simple as that. And just because you don't have a prenuptial agreement doesn't mean that you should trust. You know, when it comes to marriage, I would never marry anybody that I wasn't in love with. I would never marry anybody that I didn't love deeply. I would never marry anybody that I wouldn't want to have kids with. Even at this age, you understand. Even if you can't have kids, you know, like you should be able to say to yourself, you know, like if we had met each other back in the day, you can best believe I would have put 2 or 3 in you. You know what I mean? So, but if you are dealing with somebody where you feel like, well, I'm glad that you can't get pregnant because I don't know how you would handle that situation if we ever fell into that situation. If we ever had to visit that situation. That's not a good look. But many people will go into a situation anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, not necessarily blind, but they figure, well, I gotta make a move anyway, and a bad move is better than no movement at all. I've heard people say that kind of dumb shit, and I'm like, I don't believe that, because if you don't make a move, you still have your choices open about which move to make. And I'm not really one to make light of bad decisions or poor outcomes. I'm not really into that. I understand it, but I know from most people that I've interacted with that, you know, a little bit of patience goes a long way. So whatever or however long it takes you to be able to trust somebody, that's on you. But use your time wisely. Somebody don't want to fucking wait? Okay, I understand. Well, because guess what? If you wouldn't wait now, you wouldn't wait later. So the same way you can't wait now, if we got married and things weren't going the way that you wanted them to go immediately, you wouldn't be able to wait for that. And who knows what you might do in those situations where your patience is too short to let anything materialize. It don't even take, you know, we let our heart take us places that are detrimental sometimes. That's why a lot of people out here are scared of love, because they use love as an excuse to fuck up their lives. That's their little scapegoat. Love is their little fall guy. But love is also the thing that got these women not wanting to fuck ever again. I'm shutting it down. No celibate for the rest of my life, or abstinent for the rest of my life. I can't deal with these niggas out here. No, you can't deal with yourself because your expectations are all wrong. Well, one thing you cannot deny with a prenuptial agreement is that expectations are clearly put on the table by the one who is putting forth the prenup and the one who's signing it. We got our expectations put right here in black and white, set in stone. Sign and we move forward. Don't sign, we'll just be going together for however long until I find somebody else, because that's the way it's going to go.
Sign, seal, deliver, it's yours.
You know what I mean? So, but I was looking this shit up, and there's some non-financial reasons that people get married. Now I'm going to read some of these because they didn't sound all of that. Well, let me see what y'all think. It says, while often associated with financial matters, prenuptial agreements can address various non-financial aspects of a marriage, including protecting assets like businesses or inheritances. I don't see how that's non-financial. But anyway, clarifying expectations and safeguarding children from previous relationships. I thought that was an interesting one. They can also foster open communication about finances and help manage potential conflicts by clearly outlining responsibilities. Here's a more detailed look at reasons beyond finances. Protecting business interests. Prenuptial agreements can safeguard a closely held business from disputes, valuation issues, or even dissolution of the event. Even dissolution in the event of death or divorce. They can ensure a business owner's stake and control are preserved, even if the stake and control, even if the business was started or expanded during the marriage. 2, protecting children from previous relationships. Prenups can ensure that children from previous relationships inherit their intended share of assets and not inadvertently disinherited due to a new marriage. That makes sense to me, but I don't see how that's non-financial. You know what I'm saying? They can also address issues like child support and spousal support, ensuring that the parents' ability to provide for their children from prior relationships is not compromised. That still sounds financial to me. Defining separate property. Prenups can clearly identify and define separate property, such as inheritances, gifts, or assets acquired before the marriage, preventing them from becoming marital property and subject to division in a divorce. This clarity can prevent future disputes and ensure that specific assets are protected for their intended beneficiaries. Fostering communication and clarity, managing potential conflicts, protecting against debt, estate planning. So to me, all of those things lead back to money and finances. So in a nutshell, from what I'm getting, prenuptial agreements are all about finances. So I don't see any reason to not call a spade a spade. Yes, we're protecting our money. I ain't worried about you. Selling off my or damaging my sneaker collection. I mean, but that's money too, right? It got spent. You can find some sneakerheads to sell your shit to. So prenups are about money. But I'm thinking, I'm wondering, how much do y'all think? I'm talking to you and I'm talking to the chat too, and you can answer. How much do you think that a person should be? What do you think a person's net worth should be? How much money do you think that they should have before they consider a prenuptial agreement? What's your opinion on that? If you
how much
were.
money a person can have.
Yeah.
I said just a minute ago, I said 6 figures.
6 figures?
6 figures.
Wow.
6 figures. Either 6 figures. I mean, 5 would be okay, but 6 figures, you know, you should want to protect yourself with that. You know, and another thing is, you should also would like to know, before you even go and get to a relationship with the female you're dealing with, you have to sit down and get to know her and get to know what her expectations is within that relationship. You should know. I always say that when you in a relationship, it should always give people 5 years within that relationship. I always say give them 5 years. That's just my opinion. You know, because within a 5-year period, that's enough time to get to know that person, get to spend time with that person, get to know the ins and outs, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's to make decisions based on that right there alone. I think that's if you can so when you sit back and you make decisions like that, then you know it makes it more. Once you find out, in that 5-year period, once you make that decision, it makes it more important that then you know where that person is. If you don't know that person within 5 years, then you do better not even being with her. I even tell women, if men don't marry you within 5 years, you should just leave them. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
You know, and if people, you know, some people feel as though they're opinionated about certain situations, and whether the name calling or sitting back saying things, it's not going to make you a grown man. It makes you a weak man that don't know how to have discussions on a chat. You have to be able to talk on grown folks on a grown folk platform with grown men. That's what makes you a simp. So when I sit back and I make decisions based on my opinion, that's because I've seen different situations go on in my lifetime where people make quick decisions in a 1 year, 2 year period, and it didn't turn out the way they wanted to turn out within that match. Because they didn't know. As soon as they get ready to get a divorce, as soon as they get ready to break up, they say, I didn't even know that. And they don't use women. They say, I didn't know this about this bitch. Because now you feel like you vexed. Instead of sitting back realizing that you should have gave this relationship time and made the decision at the time that was important. You know, live together for a year just to see everything. You know, so I mean,
okay.
That gives you enough time to know, even if she's holy. 5 years, in a year's time, you should know about religion. Do she want kids? Do she not want kids? Is she about money? Is she not about money? Would she like to eat? What the fuck she smell like when she use your fucking bathroom? Every fucking thing goes on the table within that year's time.
Okay.
So I mean, everything. I mean, is that agreeable? At least that.
I mean, you know, I was just asking you, how much money do you think a person should have when they consider?
I think it should be. If you say 5 figures, I'm not mad. But if you say 6 figures, that's cool with me too.
Wait a minute, 5 figures? What are you protecting at 5 figures?
That's why I said 6 figures. But I said if somebody was to say 5 figures, I can still respect that.
But you don't have no money. That ain't no money.
Well, 50,000, 75,000. If somebody was to feel as though they had money and they were establishing themselves at that point in time, I wouldn't get upset with that.
For a prenup?
For a prenup.
If anybody making $50,000, I'm gonna tell you like this. If anybody making $100,000 and they talking about a prenup, I wouldn't marry them because they out of their fucking mind. Like,
well, I'm talking about the higher end of like 500,000.
Yeah, but you said you would,
500,000 and above.
but you said you wouldn't be mad at 5 figures. You can only get up to 9.
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad because I gotta respect it. I'm still gonna respect.
But they don't have no money. You don't have no assets at $99,000. You don't have nothing. You don't. You know what I mean? You're not.
So
you lower middle class.
Listen. If the person already owns a house, they own a couple, like 2 or 3 cars, right? They already on the verge of blowing up in their job, so they're on the upside of their job, and they have 50,000, not a year, but just 50,000 in their account, not knowing how much they make a year, right? A prenup at 50 or 75,000 is suffice if they already own these shit, so they already have assets. They have a house that they own.
All right. Well, I'm going to say that anything less than, I would say, 2 million, I don't see what you need a prenup for. Not even 1 million, because 1 million is easily compromised. You know what I mean? You got cars that cost more than that. So, and they not even the most expensive car. So, I don't know. Like, yeah, I wouldn't say, because $1 million ain't in today's economy, and it's only going to get worse. 7 figures ain't what it used to be. 6 figures certainly ain't what it used to be, and 5 figures ain't shit. You struggling anywhere from 0 to 99,000. You struggling. Oh yeah, you can go out to eat, you can have a car, and you can pay your rent or your mortgage. But that's all you can do. You ain't got no financial freedom. You ain't got no money. So, I mean, there's nothing you're really protecting. And that the same thing goes for 200,000, 300,000, for, this ain't 1984 or 1985 where $500,000 made you rich. Well, hella well off. This ain't that. Shit. At quarter of a mil, 250 grand. One house purchase will obliterate that whole shit, and you probably got to go borrow another 50 grand. So now, the reason I asked that question is because since this prenuptial agreement thing is all about money, what level of money makes you start to pull back or get in real defense mode? Like when you're not used to having anything, then a lot of a little thing seems like a lot. Like if it's like if I've never been able to afford anything higher than Longhorn Steakhouse or Outback Steakhouse or fucking Golden Corral or something like that, then Ruth Chris is going to seem like a big deal. Or some kind of other high-end steakhouse is going to seem like a really big deal. But it's not.
Right.
It's not. It's just that you're not used to shit. You never had nothing. You know what I mean? So, so there are levels to this thing. But once you get to a certain level, you understand that level is not what you think it is. When I was making $30,000 a year or less, and you hear about somebody getting a $10,000, $30,000 raise, and you're like somewhere between 10 and 30,000. You're like, damn. When you making under 30 grand or you making 30 grand, and you hear about somebody making 60 even 50 grand, 60 grand, anywhere up, close to the six figures. You like, yo, if I had that, I'd be straight because you're on a level so low that you only thinking about what you could do with double of what you had or what you have. Little do you know, you still don't have shit even with the double. You make 30 grand, you make 60 grand. Well, okay, now if your rent was 500, now you can afford to struggle with the rent being 1,000. But you haven't really done shit. You haven't scratched the surface of what success is. So hopefully your ambition is way higher than that. So the prenuptial agreement is not about ambition. It's about what you have already.
About protection.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, like.
Let me just rephrase it. It's about protection and self-preservation. I come in with, if anything, if we should separate or leave or break up one another, you get what you got. If you go with what you have, I'll go with what I have. But I came into the relationship with.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm in.
So what happens? And see, this the other part. You don't have a prenup. You have a prenup, but now you got a baby with the woman you got a prenup with.
Yeah, well, it don't even matter if you have a baby with the person you had a prenup with, because anything that's accumulated while in the marriage, they are privy to that. You're just not privy to whatever they had before the marriage. Everything that's accumulated with like during the marriage, they still are entitled to half of that. If in a divorce settlement. So you're not really protected. You're protected for what you had before, not what you have now, or during the time of the marriage.
And
So,
God forbid she helps you and get to that next level.
Well,
while y'all together, because there's some prenups. There's some people that get prenups that even though that prenup is there, the woman, when they divorce, the woman say he wouldn't be at that level if it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, listen. What JC say? Make another hove. I mean, so people allow their ego to tell them that they can do all kinds of things, or that they have done all kinds of things to build or construct or whatever. But like, why didn't you do this for yourself? You talking about what you helped me do? How did you help yourself? I mean, really, what I mean? People talk that kind of shit. Like, hey, you wasn't shit before me. Oh yeah. Then what made you make me? You know what I mean? Why did you choose to make me instead of making yourself? Ask me
why did you help contribute? Why did you help contribute to what I did? Why did you help contribute to help me get to the point where I'm at? You didn't help yourself.
I mean, I think it's a valid question, but breaking it down, like I said, this prenuptial agreement shit is all about money. So if money is at the forefront of your value system, then all right, so you're going to make money moves even when it involves, matters of the heart. And I'm not one who thinks that you should allow matters of the heart to dictate everything that you do, because mistakes are mistakes. And whether you make emotional mistakes or whether you make business mistakes or mental mistakes, it is what it is. And of course, there's a difference between making a mistake and doing something on purpose and it not coming into fruition, which feels like an excuse, a mistake, and you may write it off as being one, but you know where your heart is or has been, in all of your dealings. So with that being said, I had to ask myself, would I ever consider getting a prenuptial agreement? Like I said, maybe if I had millions of dollars, maybe I would consider it. But I'm pretty good at knowing who I can trust and who I can't trust. And I can't see myself ever being with anybody that was really trying to milk the whole situation. But there's something else we have to take into consideration. Let's say a woman has not been milking you. She ain't been asking for nothing. But you've been giving her everything. From the goodness of your heart or whatever, just because you got it like that and all of that. So, I mean, what are your expectations going in? Because how you gonna call somebody a gold digger when they ain't ask for shit? But you out here, yeah, you just been feeding them the gold, and then when they don't do everything that you ask them to do in one or two instances or whatever, now you want to say, oh yeah, but when I had the money, it was all good when I had the money, and you may still have the money. Like, your money ain't what drives this whole thing.
With the Mike Jones back then, didn't know me. Now I'm hot all on it.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, a lot of people out here, a lot of men out here tricking, and then when they lock something down or think they have locked something down when they actually may be getting locked down, now they want to be boo-hooing and screaming bloody murder and all of that. Like, but you had the choice. You was given from the heart, and now you want to implement rules and expectations all after the fact. So you was giving out free money, and now we got to pay for the money. Well, I don't know. Everybody might not be on board with that. You start with your wife. But y'all in the chat, what up, Bill? Hold on.
Let me ask you a question.
Hold on.
Let me go to the chat.
Yeah. Bill Desmet, Jeff Sprayberry, what's going on, y'all? I want to ask y'all something. I'm going to ask y'all the same question that I asked Troy and that we were discussing up here. Like, what do y'all think, if you've ever considered getting a prenuptial agreement, how much money do you think that you would need in order to seriously consider asking somebody to get a prenuptial agreement? And if your answer is there's nothing that could make me get a prenuptial agreement, you can answer that way too. Because everybody may not everybody may feel like a prenuptial agreement is necessary.
I know when you asked that question earlier, God, I can say 2K.
Who said 2K?
What do you imagine? He said 2K.
Damn, 2K? The fuck? When I saw that shit, I didn't know it. I was like, you must be talking about a video game or something. I don't know.
No.
Like, I got Jordan. You know what I mean? Who you got? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck you talking about? Like, god damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact that I done dropped a couple of grand, you know what I mean, over a certain span of time. Like, god shit. But
I just dropped a couple grand without her asking me for that.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean? That's a pretty low bar. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. All right. Jeff Sprayberry says 5 million plus. I feel that. I feel that. Because that's life-changing money there. You know what I mean? Life-changing money. Like, if you're not dealing with life-changing money, you ain't protecting shit. At least that's the way I look at it. Like, if like when you were saying 50 grand, even if it was 50 grand cash, If you can't make 50 grand cash back within at least like a couple of years, we got a problem. Like the problem ain't the prenup, the problem is you. You know what I mean? So either you don't know how to generate income or you spend it as soon as you get it. Shout out to all of the people that I've ever known that act like it's a hole in their fucking pocket. You know what I mean? Like they take the money and they stuff it in their pocket. It's like that shit drop down, you know, through their pants leg onto the ground and they walked away from that bitch. That's how I see. I've known people like that. You probably have known people like that too. Can't keep no money. And you know, it's a funny thing.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing. You was talking about people with 6 figures. As many people as I know that make 6 figures, you know, some of them motherfuckers be the poorest motherfuckers I ever seen in my life. The poor.
I'm talking about the hard situation. I'm not talking about the low end. I'm talking about the high end.
Like I said, I'm just
500,000 to the 900,000.
all I'm saying is the people that I've known. Well, should I say a lot of people that I know that make 6 figures be the ones struggling the most because they. You know what I mean? They spend. You know, like you would think. I mean, a lot of them be shopaholics. They living beyond their means. Like you making let's say you making 200 grand, but you living in a 500 grand house. And in your mind, you like, yeah, but I got 30 years to pay it off, so I'm gonna make that much. Like, I get it. I do. I get it, but I can't make sense of it. All right. Let me see. Okay, Bill Desmond says convenience. Well, hold on. I lost something. Convenience of a beautiful hooker is underrated. Oh Lord. Shit. I know STDs ain't underrated. Fuck out of here. Just break Perry.
The alphabet, STDs and HIV.
Man, I'm good. I'm good. Look. And people be, you know, motherfuckers be like, yeah, well, you know, you see, you know, this is the dangerous part of tricking. Because, like, if you pay a chick, let's say you pay a chick to give you some head. So, to me, nothing says that I ain't got no business fucking around with this chick like getting head with a condom on.
There you go.
If nothing wakes me up to like, you know what, maybe.
You might as well just went to the Google bar and got a lab test.
Yo, if you getting head with a condom on, yo, you are not supposed to be with that. And that might just be me. That might just be me. But you can best believe it is. That is me. Because that shit, like,
You wake up the next morning sounding like Cisco, that boom.
Yeah, yo, shout out to dudes who can nut from head with a condom. Because it would take me a week. We'll be like, yeah, keep going. You said $50, right? All right. She gonna go to work with me and everything. Just keep with the not the groundhog. What's the bull from the lottery, the Pennsylvania lottery? Just keep scratching. Just keep scratching. No, I'm not talking about Punks and Tony Phil, the one from the lottery. He'd be like, just keep scratching.
Keep scratching.
That's what I'm telling her. Just keep sucking. Yeah. Listen, don't mind me. We going to my office. I'm gonna get this $50 worth. You know, what up, K-Cell? What's good? But yeah,
these up here so wrong. Are still hookers underrated? Shit, they better be underrated. Stay underrated. See, shit, fuck keep scratching the scratch card. You going in there and sex with a, you gonna go home talking about keep scratching.
Let me see. Sika Sala says, I have 2 homeboys who live in the Philippines with wives. They happy as fuck. They're telling me to go. VPN approved. I mean, shit. You can definitely get some ass in the Philippines. Vietnam,
Shit.
Cambodia.
You go to DR. Go ahead and become a passport.
No, they might have a Asian fetish. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I don't know how many Filipinos you know, but you ain't gotta go to the Philippines to get a Filipino. Matter of fact, if you live in Philly, I'll take you over to Villanova University, get you a nice one.
I can take you down to 6th, 7th Street down in South Philly.
I'm just saying, Filipino, no disrespect, but they on the low end of the Asian spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Filipinos, Cambodia. You know what I mean? They cute and everything, but you ain't got to flash no kid. You know what I mean? You might come up with a bougie one, like one that own a donut shop. I get it.
One of them became Americanized.
Like I said, the ones that own the donut shop, they be real cute.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Real cute. Give you the nice one. But all right. But just because something works for somebody doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. You know what I mean? And just because something or someone makes somebody happy doesn't mean that thing is going to make you happy. And I guess nice, it might satisfy you for the day. But if you talk about marriage, you should be talking about being satisfied for years and years and years, hopefully decades to come. And if you're not thinking that way, I don't even know why you even be thinking about marriage. But a lot of people do. They don't think in long terms. They think about the short thing or the here and now. Okay, I get it. Now, if you are the type of person who's not thinking about the long term, a prenup should definitely be on your radar if you have money like that, because you already thinking more in terms of divorce or the bitter end or bitter ending, I should say, rather than we're going to work this thing out, we're going to grow together, we're going to learn together, we're going to love together. We're going to.
So let me ask you a question, son. Sorry for interrupting.
Mm-hmm.
How many years you think a person should be together before they get married, or before you really know that you know that person or trust that person?
I think that you should. Okay, I'll deal with trust first. I think you should know whether you can trust a person within the first year.
Right.
Anything under a year, I wouldn't trust that trust. Even if it was just myself, because like my late great dad used to say, "Shit, you can hold your breath for a year," and what he meant by that is, you can front a whole lot of shit for a year. Shit, think about, we already are over half a year. Now, if you gonna tell me that MLK Day didn't seem like it was just last month, you're lying.
Mm-hmm.
So a year goes by really fast, but you have to know how to trust yourself before you can talk about trusting somebody else. And this is what I mean by that. When you trust yourself, you know that you can trust yourself to make good, informed decisions. You know that you can trust yourself to be patient. You know that you can, like, if a beautiful woman just pull her panties down and then you do the same thing, you don't know how to trust yourself, because you ain't asked no questions. You just going in. If you know that you can trust yourself, then I think that then you can start to talk about whether you can trust somebody else. And I think, as far as when you should consider marrying somebody, I can't put a timeline on that. I can't put a time frame on it. You marry when you feel comfortable. And that's whether you are the man or the woman. But if somebody's trying to pressure you, like, well, if you don't, then somebody else will, or I'll find somebody else who will. Well, then, all right, well, then that's what you need to do anyway. Because I know that would never work on me. Because if you employ that tactic in order to strong arm me, you'll do that in the marriage. You'll be strong arming me for shit in the marriage. I'm not really fond of that. No, I'm not appreciative of being strong armed. Now, I'm not the type of person that drags my feet on a whole lot of shit. But when it comes to shit that affects me for a lifetime, now hold on. You know, I'm funny. I don't like new bills. I don't like no bills. You know, I'm the type of person, like, if I ever won like the Powerball or some shit like that, I'm not paying no bills. Not one. Like, paying bills is for poor people. That's for broke people. I ain't gotta pay that shit. Shit, I can pay for anything I want now. You know what I mean? I'm sitting on $500 million. What the fuck I'm worried about a gas bill for? Fuck out of here. I'm getting a whole new house. But anyway, I'm dead serious because, you know, most motherfuckers say the first thing I would do is I would pay off all my bills. For what? You worry about your credit and you sitting on 500 million? Credit? You just bought your credit, dumbass. You know what I'm saying?
You just won your credit.
People are not ready for success because they don't understand. They don't understand what having things really is all about. So it's better to gradually let them get something, because if they ever got something in a big chunk, like all at one lump sum, they won't know how to handle it. They won't know how to handle it. I've seen people swear that they had some money when they got paid off a case for like 75 grand. Ran through the 75 grand in a month, 2 months. Now, after they done ran through the money, because they act like they had a lot of money, they went out and bought a car. You know what I mean? Act like they could buy a house. You know, pay, you know, did some kind of half-ass well thought out shit like, yeah, I paid my rent for the whole year. And then when the money going, you know, when I had it like that, you know, I gave everybody, you know, and I lent people money. Now I can't get nothing. Like, mom, hey, welcome to the jungle. I mean, listen, you only had 75 grand, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And do you know how much you could have had if you would have just kept your job? Like, you quit your job because you got 75,000 cash. Like, what? They go, hey. Yeah, you can fuck up that money with school clothes. But anyway, so yeah, knowing that you can trust somebody, like I can't see myself trusting or marrying a woman that I wasn't sure that I could trust in every other way, like trust with my trust physically, emotionally, mentally. You know what I mean? Like trust that in the event of something tragic happening to me, that she would make sure that, you know, my daughter is taken care of. You know what I'm saying? That she got hers. You know, but motherfuckers do this shit. Motherfuckers do this shit, and I get it. I mean, you have the right to marry whoever you want to marry. But if we talking about this whole prenuptial agreement thing, you've already taken into consideration what could happen if this thing doesn't work out. So I would say stay the fucking course. Stay the course. You know you don't trust your wife or your husband. So all right, play that role. That don't mean you got to be mean to them. But if you talk about a prenuptial agreement, you're not talking about trust. This union is not cloaked, or I mean, should I say soaked in dear love. It's not about all of that. And I'm not saying that just because you love somebody dearly that you should go all in with them. Like, ain't nothing worse than being a good person all in love with a bad person. Ain't no good come out of that shit. Hey, y'all, do me a favor, man. Please hit that like button. Tap that screen twice. Hit the like button, please. We light on likes tonight. I would like to get a lot heavier. You know what I mean? Make a fat boy out of the likes, please, please. Bill Desmond says, ghetto lottery, right? Ghetto lottery. But shit, man, yeah, we talking about a prenuptial agreement. Well, let's go into these. Let's talk about some of these athletes or celebrities or whatever. I think most of them seek out a prenuptial agreement when it's time for them to get married, which I think is a necessary thing. Now, we also have to understand that there are different kinds of prenuptial agreements. You can have it drawn up the way you want it to be drawn up. So if you want to have a light prenuptial agreement, you can have your lawyer draw that up. Whereas, like, okay, well, I trust my spouse to be, I trust them 85%. So I'm going to write up an 85% type of prenuptial agreement where I'm not being stingy to them in any kind of way. And they are going to leave with something decent, even in the event that we don't die together or till death do us part, if that shit happen sooner, too soon. But maybe, and you can also have a prenuptial agreement changed. You can have it modified or even nullified if that's how you feel. Like I would say, if you're married, let's say you have a prenuptial agreement before with your spouse. After 15 years, if you find that they haven't poisoned your food, tried to take you out with with local thugs and shit, or taking out an insurance policy for $5 million or some old crazy shit, and you see, like, I only trusted my wife or my husband 85%, but I feel like I'm up in the high 90s now. After 15 years in,
that's what you know.
you know what I mean? Like, she didn't put arsenic in my milk or no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess she was all right, because I thought for sure that when we went on a cruise that I was gonna get pushed overboard. Love overboard. I'm in need of help. But anyway, you know what I mean?
G Legend said, I don't even trust myself around pastries. Why would I trust a woman?
Hey man, I mean, hey, at least he's being. Ain't nothing wrong with knowing yourself. Know thyself. Know thyself. Shit.
I don't even trust myself around pastries. How the fuck would I trust a woman?
I feel what he's saying. He's saying if I don't even trust myself to make good decisions, why would I trust somebody else to fall in line? Or at least, comply with the ideal of how I think the world should be. Why should I do that? So I get it. I ain't mad at that. There's some things you have to do on your own time. There's some things you should not be pressured into doing. And marriage is one of those things. I mean, everybody's not going to agree with that. And hopefully the person who agrees the most is the person that you're marrying. The rest of the world can wait, but the one that you're marrying has to be the one that's on board. But if you've been breaking bread the whole time anyway, then I don't know. Things is just, I just know how things can change. Troy, you ever been with somebody that totally switched up on you after something happened? It could even be something that you did, like, you could have cheated or something like that. Not saying that you did, but you could have cheated or something like that. And then, your woman got real funny afterwards because she didn't feel like she could trust you. But like sometimes a woman, I'm going to say woman on it. Like, they'll stay with you, but punish you for the remainder of your relationship. So you're going to be paying.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They'll put that to the forefront of their memory Rolodex.
Not just that, but they might physically punish you, by their actions, not necessarily by putting their hands on you, but by their actions, they are physically punishing you. So they're doing everything. In other words, they're doing everything that they know you have contempt for.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm gonna have sex on it, but I ain't moaning.
You know what? It's funny you said that because I wasn't even thinking along them lines. I was thinking like going out a lot. Never used to do that before. Now they going out a lot, coming home late, not checking in, not being totally inconsiderate where they were considerate before. Now y'all supposed to have gotten past all of this shit, but now here come the passive aggressive shit. Here come the oh yeah, everything is all right. That's the verbal, but the actions are we are in hell.
No, we ain't the fuck all right. You can tell we not.
Yeah, we are in relationship hell. And guess who got the pitchfork?
Hey,
that's what I meant by physically doing everything that.
But what I just said is it's still in the realms of physically too, because if they switch their pitch up in the bedroom, then that's even major, just as major as that.
I could understand a woman switching it up in the bedroom when your indiscretions are fresh. But you either have forgiven somebody or you haven't. Now,
and that's the most important thing what you just set up here and said that fucks me up about relationships.
But hold on. Because my fault. Hold on, there's more to it than this. Because you can forgive a person and still be mad as fuck at them. So you might not mean to to be a bitch or be an asshole, but your feelings are hurt. So you might still be in love with them to the point where you don't want to be without them. Maybe you are dependent upon them. And I'm not talking about financially dependent either. You might be dependent upon them because y'all been together, y'all got so much history and all of that. But now you got these feelings of betrayal. So even though you don't want to act funny, you can't act the same anymore. So a part of you really has forgiven them. But your forget game is weak as shit. You know what I mean? And now, how like with some people, I've heard a lot of women say this, and they say all men say it. Like there's some women that when they find out that you stepped out on them, it turns their stomach. And they also, like let's say you cheated and had a baby by another chick, so she know you going raw. And she like, all right, you already had a baby. Now you might bring me home a gift that lasts longer than the baby.
And even take it back to the store.
So you know what I mean? Like it's not always as simple as what it looks like on the surface. You know what I mean? Shit can get real different. Shit can get real different justifiably. But this is where communication. One thing about a prenuptial agreement is that the communication is intact. It's contractual. Your expectations are being put right there in the contract. Without a prenup or in a just regular conventional relationship or marriage, communication isn't always intact. There are often things that don't get said. And so without things being said or expressed, they may not be understood. And you may have two people thinking that they understand each other and neither one of them actually do.
Because they communicate with one another and have that conversation. And that leads to a fucked up situation.
A real fucked up situation because y'all still together, but y'all had the relationship itself has been damaged bad. It's like trying to drive a car that got a flat.
Let me ask you something. Take away a part like this, like infidelity thing. What other thing that a person would sit back and hold against you? Like they forgive you but won't forget. Like what else?
Some people can't get past natural evolving changes. Like check this out. You know, you think that because two people met each other when they were at a certain income level or social level that the two of them are going to grow up together. It doesn't always happen that way. Like, let's say your whole ideals, you know, I'm gonna tell you something. All right, because I've seen this. Let's say when you and your woman got together, you was a Muslim, devout, on your deen, hard as shit, eating a certain type of way, praying 5 times a day, even wanted your woman to garb up. She did it. Years later, on your spiritual journey, maybe you're not a Muslim anymore. Maybe you don't do organized religion anymore. You know, you're not requiring her to wear her whole get up or whatever. You're not requiring that anymore. I'm just saying, you know, because I really don't like to say garb, but the actual name of it always escapes me. You know what I mean? And that be pissing me off.
Hijab or something like that. Hajib or something like that.
The hajib is just the headdress, but the whole thing has a name. You know, from head to toe, and I never can remember this shit. So anyway. So you may have started reading things differently, educating yourself in a different kind of way. You're growing, and you're not growing in the consistent way that she's used to. So now, because you're going through changes, she's looking at it like it's inconsistent. So even though it might sound petty to an outsider, you know how women love consistency. And now you seem inconsistent. Even in your spirituality, you're inconsistent. So whereas before it was all Allahu Akbar and Assalamu Alaikum and Alhamdulillah, and it was all of that. And now you're questioning God. You're questioning your faith. You're questioning the afterlife. You're questioning everything. Meanwhile, she was on board with the whole Muslim thing.
Mm-hmm. You brought her into it.
Yeah. So you brought her into it, Now you're leaving it and you expect her to leave it too. But no, she's in it. This is what she believes. She believed in you and now she believes in that. And, you know, so even though like to outsiders, like I was saying, that might seem like a petty thing to hold a grudge about. But it's not. Because now you're not the man or the person that she has come to know. You know, your changes are potentially dangerous. You're not being consistent. You're not being predictable. You're not being reliable. I don't know what's going on with you. You all over the place. And I miss the person.
You was used to the norm. And then when the norm was broken by you breaking away from the religion, it created chaos.
It's not just a religion. He is growing and he's growing apart from her. She feels like she's being separated from him because his mentality is, in her eyes, is not consistent. Not that he's crazy or anything, but his decision making and his judgment and everything may come into question with that. She misses the man that she could set her watch by. She misses the man that she knew would do this and that and the third in certain situations. Now she don't know what this man will do. She might still need that man that you were instead of the man that you are. And she might look at it, she might resent that. Now, you might, like I said, it might sound petty that she would resent him or feel like she couldn't forgive him for his changes, because I mean everybody evolves, but it would probably be the same as if he went to school and he started learning a whole lot of shit. You know what I mean? He on his way to a master's degree or a PhD, a doctorate, and she got a GED. They not gonna be talking about the same kind of shit. He can help her along. It's not that she's unintelligent or anything like that, but she's not educated on the same level. They can't speak on the same level. You know what I mean? This motherfucker done learned a whole lot of shit that she would never even think about. And vice versa.
I'm just laughing how you say it.
It's true.
A whole lot of shit.
It's true. You know what I mean? Shit. I mean, you graduated college, you know. You learn shit in college that you would never think about learning outside of it. And it'd be cracking me up with motherfuckers who didn't go try to tell you that you don't know more than them. And you might not know more than they do about what they know a lot about. But trust and believe you know a whole lot of shit that they ain't never think about. And they ain't been forced to be tested and have to write papers and maybe even do internships on that shit. It makes you different. It does. And it changes the way you think, and which is going to change the way that you talk. And then that's going to change your interactions with certain people. You wonder how come you can't kick it like, oh shit. Okay. You ever, you know how you got friends from back in the day? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and y'all might not have seen each other a long time, and y'all see each other after a long time, and y'all try to catch up with each other and all of that. And you realize like, oh, this nigga's in some dumb shit.
Yes, I do.
You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, that's still my man. But I'm not doing what he doing no more. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. You know, that's one thing that when I stopped drinking, I had to come to a lot of grips with. Like, when you drink, you go to drinking places. You hang with drinking people. You do. And when you cut that out, when you cut that part of your life out, you cut off a lot of things that was tied to that. Not that you don't necessarily have to become bougie, but it ain't, especially when it comes to drinking. When you do drink, if you dealing with somebody that's drinking, you can take a couple of drinks and catch up to them. They might be sounding crazy as shit to you because they drunk and you not. So you can take a few shots and get where they are. When you don't do that no more, you realize that nobody talks more than a person that been drinking and is trying to convince you that they ain't drunk. They be talking too much. They be talking too much.
I don't even know why you here not getting me a double shot.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Yo, dude, they be talking too much. Might get all emotional, get to crying and shit. You know what I mean? All kinds of shit can happen. And you can't mentally get there. So it becomes apparent to you after a while, like, yeah, I gotta find something else to do. So when a couple is going through that same thing, damn fucking allergies. When a couple is going through that same thing where, one of them seems like they are like the other one has grown away from them. And then that could easily fuel suspicions that you hanging with somebody else, talking to somebody else. You know what I mean? Man, even in the bedroom, you know what I mean? Like, one of the worst things that you could ever do is get better in bed with the woman that you ain't been that good in bed with. Like, you could only have gotten that, you know what I mean? Like, you wasn't doing that before. Like, well, damn, can we do something new? You know what I'm saying?
Fucking alcohol brought that shit out.
Yo, hold on. Like, baby, you wasn't coming before either. You mad at that? I don't want to be coming this way because this is somebody else come. This ain't mine. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, this whole, even though it don't seem like we talk about the prenup thing, this is the kind of shit.
It's two things, son, that will get you to change your life around certain women. Two things with love making changes here. Alcohol in the hotel room.
Listen, man, if I don't know nothing about nothing, I know about love, I know about feelings. You know what I'm saying? And I don't associate, money or assets or possessions, worldly possessions. I don't associate none of that shit with love. So if I don't feel the chemistry between me and you, then we have nothing. We barely even have anything to talk about. You know what I mean? If I can't lay with you and be having a good time and be glad that I'm there, if I feel like I need to, get up and put my drawers on, or, make an excuse to go around the corner, we got a problem.
I got a bar for your ass. If I can't lay with you, stay with you, and pray with you, there's no way we can be together.
I like it. You know what I'm saying? Brand that. But yeah, I mean, it's real shit. So there are a lot of people getting married and maybe considering a prenuptial agreement because of this very thing. You know that you're not there with a person. You're not there. You the heart and the mind ain't connected.
Well, like K-Cell said, if you have to do a prenup agreement, there are serious trust issues, while you're with that person in the first place. Patient trust and loyalty takes time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all that right there in a nutshell tells you enough. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, but things take me out because you can honestly, have a trust, and you might can honestly even get to that level, but you allow somebody to infiltrate your air, like a parent or a cousin or a brother or a sister, to trigger some type of emotion to change your thought process on prenups.
You think? What do you mean by that?
Some people, meaning that everything could be going good in your relationship, but you will allow somebody else to manipulate your thought process because they will infiltrate your mind and your thoughts and say, maybe I think it might be best that you go about things that route, and you're not even thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Well, your family normally wants to protect you. And sometimes, and this goes back to the whole whether you can trust yourself thing. Sometimes you may be totally resistant to seeing what you need to see, but they can see it because they not in love.
Well, it could be two things. They might be trying to protect you, or they might be trying to protect the money to benefit them. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I understand that. But the thing is, if you get married to a person, the whole time while y'all married, they don't have access to that money. That's still it's still community property. So, but think about it. They might have money too. There are families that
So
have
let me ask you a
money.
question. What would you do if a woman came up to you, y'all been together for 3-4 years, and she want to marry you, but she tell you got to sign a prenup?
When I tell you the things that would never happen,
I was wondering why you paused for a long time.
man, look, I want to give a shout out to any woman that I've ever been with that put up with me for 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? But you can best believe you put up with me for 3 or 4 years. That shit is love. You ain't think about no motherfucking prenup. Because one thing is for sure, I'm not running off with your money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not that kind of person. But let me try to get into this shit. All right, you want me to sign a prenup? No, I'm not signing a prenup and we're not getting married. As simple as that. I'm just saying. We're not getting married. There's no need for a prenup. Since, this money thing is important to you, keep what's important to you. I'm all right wherever I am. Now we have to decide whether we're going to be together going forward or not, because we've already introduced this foreign substance into our situation. Things will never be the same. Varshay McDonald, what's good? How you feeling, man? Good to see me some you. And Raiden Thomas, K-Cell. Like, yeah, it'll never be no. Look, listen, one thing, one thing that's abundantly clear from any woman that I've ever dealt with is I'm not after your money. Like, you keep all that you have or whatever. I mean, for years, like during a rough patch in my life, every woman I dealt with was making 6 figures. They was getting money. So, I mean, that's your money. You work hard for it. You know what I mean? You do you. I'm not with you, cousin. Listen, man, I never paid rent a day in my life. I've never paid rent a day in my life or a mortgage, ever. I've always owned my own house. I owned a building that I had an apartment in. I don't know nothing about that life, and I'm not going to learn it. I can guarantee you that. I was considering putting a down payment on a house because I saw a nice joint around here. 3-story thing was nice. You know what I mean? It had a lot of potential. Yo, that $1,400 a month had me breaking out in hives. Like, for how long? You know what I mean? Like, the fuck out of here. That's just not that's not even a lot. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not
used to what you used to, bro.
I'm on the rent receiving end. I'm not on the rent paying type of thing. And I'm only saying that. That's not bragging. I'm just letting you know that that's the way I've dealt with any woman that I've ever been with. Like, we're not in this shit for no money. If we don't like each other, we gonna be apart from each other. I need to like you more than I love you. The love will always be there. Even if we can't put up with each other's shit. I can love you just because I see that you're a decent person. But in order for me to keep liking you, that's like an immediate daily renewal thing. Like, I still really like you. You know what I mean? You know what people do with things that they like? Shit, they got family. Shit, you might have family members that you love, but you don't like them worth shit. You just love them because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do, and that's your bloodline. But you don't like them. Might not want to have nothing to do with them. You know every time your phone ring and they on the other end of it, they only calling to get something. They not calling because they love you. You know what I mean? They want to usurp everything you have. So yeah, you don't like them like those people. But it's a bad position to not like your spouse, and a lot of people in that position don't like them. Don't like them. Don't really want to be near them. You know what I'm saying? Like the smell of their perfume or their cologne, you start making you angry. Like, why you gotta wear that nasty smelling shit?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It shit smell like no shower. But yeah, but liking somebody is serious, because like I said, that gets renewed on a regular basis. Your love don't get renewed. That shit lasts, but that liking shit, that's the shit that make you spend time. Love don't make you spend time liking dude. Love will make you give some money. Give money and get the fuck out of the way. Here's my contribution. See y'all next month. You know what I mean? Liking make you give up the money and be spending more money along the way, because you right there. Like, I like this situation. This is good. This makes me feel good. I like it. You know? So
I get you.
Yeah, that's real shit.
Thanks for bounce passing me there. I can lay that up.
I mean, man, this life ain't as easy as it sounds. We got about 2 minutes, man. We ain't doing no overtime tonight. I'm tired as when I
Are you doing the bars? Are you doing the bars tonight?
I'm gonna tell you why I'm tired. You know, I stay at my mom's house on Sunday nights, to help out with her. And last night I did something that I had put off doing for the longest time.
Was you painting?
Nope. I took my goddamn PlayStation 4 to my mom's crib. Why the fuck did I do that?
See, I got to break it down, wasn't you?
Man, what? I was like, just one more game. Just one
You
more.
know, the motherfucking De La Soul. Break the dawn. Break the dawn.
Right? So, you know, I got 2 PlayStation 5s, one for the bedroom, one for the living room. And I had, before then, I had 2 PlayStation 4s. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just take the 4 to my mom's house. So while I'm over there, I don't be wishing that I was home playing my game. And I can play the game here. The picture on her TV, I was like, wow, this is really nice. This is good. I was like, the picture on her TV, I was like, yo, look, this is good. But it's such a, you know, sidebar, it is such a big difference between the PS4 and the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
The speed of the game on a PS5 is like a fucking McLaren.
Mm-hmm.
The speed on a PS4 is like a Kia. An old Kia.
A kid, an old kid.
An old Kia. An old Kia. Before it was such a popular brand, you know what I mean? Like it's a big difference. Like that PS5 should be fast as shit. That PS4 shit, you be having time to aim, miss. You know what I mean? You still gonna get this motherfucker. I was killing the shit out of these. I was like, I'm fucking murdering the motherfuckers. I was like, I gotta get back to PS5. This shit, you know what I mean? I gotta get back to being mediocre. But anyway, so that's why I was tired. I had a good day. I had to go to court today because I got a ticket. I got a ticket from the day before Mother's Day. This fucking no good, rotten female cop gave me a fucking ticket talking about I made an illegal left turn. Well, the court found me not guilty. When I tell you I George Jefferson walked out that bitch.
You Tupac walk out that bitch.
No, I didn't. I George Jefferson walked out that motherfucker. Fuck Tupac. I was, you know what I mean, with the hard stroll. With the hard stroll. Like, fuck is y'all talking about? I was happy. Man, I was like, I ain't want to pay them fucking $183 for that bullshit. It ain't even the money, it was the fucking principal. Like, man, that's corny.
Yeah, you wanted to pay that.
Yeah, well, turns out I don't. I won. K-Cell says I still have my PS4. Yeah, I still got 2 of them. But it's a difference, man. That shit is a big difference. The speed of the PS5 is ridiculous. That shit crazy. But yeah. All right, man, let's do these birthday shout outs and get on up out of here. Hold on, before you go, before I let you, yeah, we're gonna do the poll. All right, get them on the poll. All right, 29 votes. What could make you consider getting a prenuptial agreement? 34% says if I thought they only wanted me for my money. All right, 24% says if the marriage was for citizenship. Interesting. 28% says if the person had too much going on. It's funny how we probably all have a different interpretation of what that meant, but it was good enough. All right, and 14% says nothing would make me get a prenup. Okay, all right. This is pretty kind of well balanced. Not bad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right, TK, right? Talking about she was asleep, but now she up and on her way to the gym. God damn. Oh, that's 404.
You do that, boy. God damn. When you out.
Yo.
You gotta have like a clock in your mind to wake up at this time, boy.
Man. Yo, that's crazy. You going just what I was about to say. It's still dark.
You get ready to make love. I know you get ready to make love in your bed.
Man, I'm tired of shit. The court joint was 9 o'clock in the morning. I ain't stay up that late. I stayed up till about 3. Me just a little bit after me. I know I was asleep by like 3:15. But I had the motherfucking controller in my hand at 3:05. I know that shit for a fact. You know what I mean? I was like, oh no, that's over. It's over. But yeah, I'm a little droopy. I'm a little droopy and loopy. All right, man. It's been a pleasure once again. Have a good night.
Always a pleasure, man. Hey, see you in the AM again.
All right. Holla back.
All right, much love, everybody in the live stream. Be safe. Enjoy your day. All right, man.
All right. Good shit. My brother Troy McNeil Diesel. All right. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious July 14th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Michelle Span, happy birthday, and Lauren Gale, Marquita Jones, Levon Belzier, Dean Johnson, Starshine, Dana Mocha Diggs, Marquita Woodson, Trey Washington, Tawana Deneen, Tiffany Frazier, and last, D. Nicole Anthony. And last but not least, my girl, Rochelle Bailey. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious July 14th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, I wasn't going to do no buzz. I said, go hard for yo. Prenuptial agreement. If you're not really ready, then you're going hard like cement. You're not really ready to get married, so why would you pair yourself up and play yourself what? Yo, you can wait enough time, but if you don't trust your joint, even if she is a dime, maybe it was because of dime that you even considered, but you gonna be out there like you're on a shitter, and you a hitter and a quitter. All I know that you might need a babysitter to watch the child that you have, and once you got a child, yo, shit is going to get wild. Why would you have a baby by somebody that you really can't stand? Woman to man, and you have the choice to make, and if you don't make it, then you're out here like it butt naked. And everybody can see what's going on, big or small, yo, short or tall. Oh, it's getting kind of crazy, energetic or lazy, 8 to 80. Yo, none of that shit fazed me. I remember when I was a young pup trying to just find out what the deal and what's up. Sometimes I made a lot of mistakes. Sometimes I got escaped with a little cake. Got a little dough, but I never sold nothing. So I ain't trying to be out here cold fronting. So if I don't love you, they don't even like you, then I'm going to treat you like a baseball spike you. Baseballs don't even get spiked. What I meant to say was a football. What the hell you do like? That lets you know that I'm tired. I'm going to have a better one tomorrow when I'm inspired. Thank y'all for coming through. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what we do. So this bullshit that I spew is coming out of the dome. I'ma hit it home. And everything is real sewn up. I'm going to treat it like responsibility. Own up. Thank y'all all for coming on by. We gonna do this on the 15th. Give it another try. Be back tomorrow night, 2 a.m. You know how it goes. Yo, we gonna rock this like skim milk. That shit be tasting like it's sour, but I gotta do this because I got an hour power. Yo, man, peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night, 2 a.m. in the morning. And I promise y'all, I will have more for y'all. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. I holla back. Peace. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel.